Now let's talk about how you would play big pairs using small ball strategy. That's hands like aces, kings, queens, and jacks are marginal. Obviously, you'll be playing these hands in pretty much any position. The aces and kings, they're good enough to play for all your chips. There may be situations, though, that come up where you can justify folding kings. However, it's not a good habit to get into. Having kings when another player at the table has aces is a rare occurrence. Even if you were unlucky enough to run into the trap, the kings will still win the pot almost 20% of the time. You should never feel ashamed of going broke with kings before the flop. Now, folding kings before the flop when no one had the aces, that's a statistical nightmare. I folded kings before the flop exactly one time in my career. The situation was perfect, of course, and my opponent just had to have aces. I threw my kings in the muck face up, and my opponent turned up queens. Needless to say, I'll never do that again. As you'll understand later in the chapter, when you are playing a fast-paced style of poker, your opponents will give you more action than they would if you were playing conservatively. The good news is you're more likely to get paid on your aces and kings. The bad news is it'll be more difficult for you to play hands like queens and jacks because your opponents might try to take more shots at you because of your liberal style. It won't be as easy for you to fold hands like queens and jacks when an opponent raises you. Frankly, you don't really want to play many big pots with those pairs because more often than not, you're either way behind or slightly ahead. In fact, it's not a bad idea to play those hands a little bit more carefully pre-flop. You don't have to re-raise with these hands, especially against a player who raised from early position. This will also add yet another layer of deception to your game because it will let the rest of the table know that just because you didn't re-raise, it doesn't mean you have a weak hand. That will help you a lot when you start calling raises with hands like 5-6 suited.